Welcome, everybody, to Crazy Animal Gaming. Today's episode, I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to Watch Dogs, philosophy, or controversy. Possibly a wake up call to all of us. This game had many negative reviews by other content creators. I thought it'd be a good idea that I share some of my thoughts in reference to this game since I played it from beginning to end and fell in love with the story. I kept looking into the details to find out why I'm so caught into the story while other people did not like it. A good half of the reviews focused on how the story seemed very boring and weak. A large number of the content creators who were individuals who preferred to play games that lean more towards a fantasy-based storyline rather than one that runs parallel with the world that we live in. I felt that way because when I took a look at some of the reviews that were out there and then observed some of the other games that they play, I noticed they're more into games like Mario Brothers, Mario Smash, or whatever you want to call it, and games that I typically don't play. I'm really into story and campaign type of games, and this was one that really caught my attention. This is with respect to those that had an issue with the storyline presented in this game. So if you had an issue with this game, I'm hoping that this perception or this review of what I experienced might change and influence you to play the game and kind of see it from a different perspective. Watch Dogs. It's a world in which activities and events look very similar to how we live our lives today. The game is blurring the lines between fantasy and reality. So it's, a lot of the stuff in the game seems very real. In this video, my goal is to share with you why the overall story of this game is well written and applies to the reality that we live in today. It's not as boring, rather more thoughtful, and one that requires thinking. The story of this game begins with the hacker who attempts to rob a bank by hacking into the network. Of course, he failed in this attempt, and it led to unfortunate event which caused the death of his niece. So you start off as this character by the name Aiden on a mission to seek revenge in a technology-driven city known as Chicago. But please don't mistake it as Chicago, but it's known as Chicago, almost as wild as Chicago. Aiden uses a smartphone. You can technically, you're using a smartphone that will allow you to hack traffic lights, transformers, city bridges, forklifts, vehicles. You can even hack phones, access information about a person's identity, bank accounts, job details, how much salary people make. You also have the ability to hack the CTOS network, allowing you to eavesdrop into people's homes and listen to their conversation. Now, you might be asking, what the hell is a CTOS network? Think of it as a centralized database that the city organizations, the cops and the FBI can access and look into further investigation or details in reference to what you've been doing. I was watching a guy eat popcorn while he's watching a movie on his TV. I'm looking at him through his smartphone in this, smart TV in this game. You know how scary that is? Just imagine if that is what's happening in today's society. And we talk about smart TVs that have Alexa, smart TVs that have webcam, and things of that nature. So just imagine, even your laptop. According to CEO Alastair Patterson, I was looking at some of the stuff that was online in reference to what other people think, security companies and IT companies. For instance, Alastair Patterson is the CEO of Digital Shadows. According to him, he pretty much stated that all of those would be possible in the real world. Everything that I mentioned. The timeliness and the convenience of performing them with one click on a smartphone is not there yet. But in some cases, it could be. That's word for word is what he stated. And really that goes back to how sophisticated this game is, and people are not seeing that. Almost everything in our world today is dependent heavily on technology. If you take a look at the game, you can hack into a vehicle and pretty much take the vehicle on a ride. You can even make a vehicle do things in general throughout the game. I can make a vehicle's alarm go off, right? Well, take a look at today's vehicles. The electrical systems and network act like smartphones connected to the internet. I mean, that's how our vehicles operate today, which opens up the possibilities for hackers to gain access to critical systems remotely using wireless connection. I saw a video on YouTube, which I'm sharing below in the description. Please take a look at it. Security engineer Charlie Miller and director of vehicle safety research Chris Valsic, might be mispronouncing the poor guy's last name. They use the latest hacking techniques to hack into the electrical system of a Jeep Cherokee. They were able not only to do this but they were able to do it without physical access to the vehicle. Using the internet, they were able to access the Jeep's entertainment system, enabling them to relay commands to its dashboard functions, steering, brakes, transmission, and they were able to do all this remotely about 10 miles away from the location. If that's not scaring you, then what else will, right? And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just saying how real this game is in reference to what we are living today and we are oblivious of. The University of Michigan security researchers hacked nearly 100 wirelessly networked traffic lights, and they were able to change the state of the lights on command. In the video game, you're able to do majority of that stuff. You can turn a light green if you wanted to and cause a heavy accident, which is one way you get away from being chased by the police if you wanted to in the video game. But here's the University of Michigan, who was able to hack into 100 wirelessly networked traffic lights and change the state of the lights on command. The research found weaknesses in traffic infrastructure, deployment, and potential attacks. So these lights could be set to remain in red, causing chaos for drivers. It can cause traffic congestion, as well as potential for an attacker to use it for personal gains, such as making sure they hit all the green lights. I don't know why you would do it, but you would, I guess if I'm in a rush, I would turn all the lights green and just get home in a jiffy instead of taking 30 minutes, right? All the device that they used for this research, they used the default credentials that came built into the device, leaving defaults enabled are how people can easily hack road signs and other traffic infrastructure. So that's what they were able to do. Take a look at the controlling traffic lights Michigan research. I have it right below in the description. But again, I'm sharing this with you just to kind of give you an idea of how relevant this game is to today's society. And this was made a couple years back. The developers of Watch Dogs spent significant time studying real-world hacking, and they learned how it's done and where the latest threats are coming from. So there's a reason why the game is so real to our society today. The developers indicated that it's not possible to do all the hacking with your phone with the press of a button. However, anything can be hacked given the internet. The video game had an interesting scene in which one of the main mob boss who owns large corporations apparently wears a pacemaker. The mob boss was wearing a pacemaker. I had no idea he was wearing a pacemaker, but he was. And, of course, I'm Aiden, and I'm seeking revenge for what he did to somebody in my family. And however, the mob boss is standing behind a bulletproof glass and he's taunting me or taunting Aiden. In this scene, I reached to my phone and I was kind of shocked. I said, what is he doing? And it asked me to hack into the pacemaker, causing it to kill the boss. So, I guess I killed the battery life of the pacemaker, and the mob boss started to fade away and pretty much die on the spot. And I thought that was weird. I said, some things aren't exactly how they present it to be. And so I said, there's no way. So of course I researched it and I found the scene interesting. Therefore, I was looking into it and I learned that in 2017, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, had recalled approximately 465,000 pacemakers made by the company Abbott's that were vulnerable to hacking. Apparently, this is an ongoing security problem in America and probably all over the world. The device can be hacked to increase activity or reduce battery life. I mean, you're pretty much at the mercy of the person who wants to harm you. God knows what kind of chaos this would cause, right? Potentially endangering patients. These devices have low cost, so low maintenance batteries, small size remote access, which makes securing such devices a serious challenge. that's what I started noticing, that, why is it that we're having these issues? And of course, we're having these issues because they're low cost, low maintenance, batteries, small size, remote access, and all these issues, accumulate to this, the potential for hacking. There were three key issues that hold back cyber safety, according to the research on the conversation.com in reference to Pacemaker. And they said the three key issues that hold back cyber safety is most embedded devices don't have the memory or power to support proper cryptographic security, encryption, or access control. Doctors and patients prefer convenience and ease of access over security control. And then thirdly, remote monitoring, an invaluable feature of embedded devices, also makes them vulnerable. So those are the facts in reference to the pacemaker. Now, in conclusion, what does this all mean for us? Our society, specifically Western society, is completely dependent on internet, connected devices. We use the internet for convenience in every day of our life, from the computer to our phones to Fitbits, Apple Watches, Alexa, Google, Ring door alarms. Everything revolves around the internet. As our society continues to move towards a more profound era of artificial intelligence, I forgot to mention even the fridge. I saw a refrigerator today that had all these Wi-Fi capabilities, Alexa. Oh my God, I was so puzzled. It was expensive, but just imagine. Oh, Amazon capability. If your fridge is missing certain items, it'll tell you that you need to order more, and it could be connected directly to Amazon. I don't know how it works. It was complicated, so I didn't buy it, but still. This convenience that we're looking for comes with potential abuse. The methods that you use to get to work, your phone, your house, all of your appliances, all can become potential security risk, and they can be hacked without disconnecting them from the internet. So if you're still connected to the internet, there's potential for hacking. We are unaware of who's watching us. We never know, but someone is watching us. Uncle Sam is watching you. Someone is watching you. Every online interaction one has is recorded digitally in some way, and as we use technologies such as social media and cloud storage and mobile devices, even though we get a lot of benefit from it, unconsciously we are leaving a trail of data behind on the internet. According to Alistair Patterson, he stated, I think we all really need to be conscious that once we've posted something, it's there for good. It'll never disappear completely. So this data can be sold, swapped between corporations, or as we've seen in Edward Snowden's revelations, requisitioned by government agencies, which, for those of you that don't know, the Patriot Act, an overnight revision of the nation's surveillance laws that vastly expanded the government's authority to spy on its own citizens, while simultaneously reducing checks and balances on those powers like judicial oversight, public accountability, and the ability to challenge government searches in court. Or this data that we're talking about can be stolen. The data that is out there on the internet, the data that you're putting together because you're constantly plugged into the internet. The annual cost of cybercrime is now, I want to say, roughly about $100 billion, unless it went up more, and it continues to rise. And as technologies continues to improve, we get the benefit for the convenience, but at the same time, it may seem that people prefer convenience and ease of access more than security, but in all reality, the more security embedded in the product, the higher the cost, and that's the issue. That's the challenge. Are you willing to pay more for security? Is it safe to say we value lower costs rather than protecting our privacy? Possibly. Is this a wake-up call? Possibly. And I call it a wake-up call mainly to let us know that you're being watched, and whatever you say can be held against you. So is Watch Dogs really that boring? Or was this game meant to enlighten you? In my opinion, we are all subjects within the game whose privacy is constantly being breached without any awareness. Watch Dogs shared a storyline in which the privacy of citizens were encroached, including the main character. The storyline shared how the city had eyes everywhere and people had no such thing as privacy, even in their own homes. This is scary for one to stomach, especially considering what is happening in our society since 9/11. Our right with respect to the Fourth Amendment have been violated easily through the use of technology and laws that were deemed temporary to prevent international harm, yet have become permanent and domestic. What is your opinion? Feel free to leave your thoughts below. Watch Dogs, a philosophy or controversy? What are your thoughts? Peace.